with a legal update on a star and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Recalling the reaction in the WWE locker room to him being named the Chosen One by Vince McMahon, Drew McIntyre told Chris Van Vliet, I guess in certain ways, but a lot of people did not like it backstage. So I didn't realize how significant the professional jealousy was. The things being said were all out of jealousy, with people wondering why this kid was getting a huge opportunity when they had been around for years. I certainly felt the impact of those opportunities on TV for a period. Looking back, I know I could have done things a bit differently, but I just didn't have the tools at the time to do so. We all go through our journeys for a reason to end up at the final destination. Asked about his loss to Damian Priest at the Clash at the Castle event earlier this year, Drew McIntyre said on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, that was a tough one, really tough one. The same time, if I win, then I'm right. Sometimes it's okay to be right. Yeah, that one really stung. Yeah, it was the right call. There's always that moment, and in the environment we're in now, it's story above all else. I didn't feel that way in the past. I was like, if we don't do this now, things could change in a couple of weeks. It's a lot of pivoting left and right, and characters and stories changing consistently. Now I know we will stick to the story. It hurt, but I see what we are now, and I'm like, okay, if I won that night, then I'm just, yeah, I did it. I'm right, go screw yourselves. Because of what happened, and much as I can't stand him, that moment was something that would be replayed forever. Just the big near fall at the end, everybody in my freaking home country going insane. 1, 2, and it's that piece of counting the fall and cost me the match with the low blow. And at the same time, it's SummerSlam. If you noticed, the way I gave him the low blow was the exact same corner, exact same way he did it to me. So he can't say one word about how things happened at SummerSlam. At the Milwaukee Brewers game, WWE star Braun Strowman would throw out the first pitch. Revealing the severity of her prior injury as she herniated discs in her back, former AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter said this on Close Up, I wasn't even aware of the injury until it was really bad. I couldn't walk, I couldn't even stand up straight. My body was at an angle, I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't laugh, I couldn't sneeze, I couldn't cough, I couldn't sit down, I couldn't stand in the shower, I couldn't lay down on my back, I couldn't really do anything. I thought it was like a sciatica at first. I was happy because I was not in the know for so long and just really wanted to know what it was for so long and get on the road to recovery. It was a bad place to be in. It got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I even want to do it again. I don't know why. I think it was the pain and everything that happened. I just really wasn't sure. It was almost like I had to find myself again, find my purpose, and find my passion to do it again. I think when the pain from my injury kind of subsided a little bit, that's when I could see the light a little bit more. I was in pain constantly. It was not a fun injury. I was bedbound for months, and I couldn't do anything. I could watch stuff on my phone, or lay in bed and read some books and things like that. When the pain subsided, I could start moving again. For me personally, being physical is my enjoyment. That is what I do best. Mentioning his future goals in WWE, former World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest told Chris Van Vliet, "It's one of those things that I don't know what it is, but there's got to be more. I'm just going to keep striving for more. Obviously, I've accomplished some goals, but there's still more. I want to be in the Hall of Fame, so I got a lot of work to do. Like I've said, I've only been on the main roster for 3 years. I feel like I need a few more and a few more at a high level. I need just more moments for me to enjoy with my friends and family. There's a lot more Damian Priest to go that I need to happen, so that when I'm actually done, I could be like, man, I did everything. I haven't done everything yet. I want to do it all. I want to have every moment possible." Providing an update on his health, Paul Wight said this on the run home: "Knees are good. They're both fake, so there are no problems with them. They're both brand new. There is no bone-on-bone arthritis. I have a full replacement on my left knee and a partial replacement on my right knee. They are straight. I'm not need any more. We're doing pretty good. A couple months back, I was working out and I sheared the titanium button off the kneecap. There is nothing you can do about that. They just had to go in and take the button out because it protects the kneecap. With me shearing off the titanium pin, they just looked at me and went, there is nothing we can do. It might get sore. Some days if I work out a little too hard, it gets a little sore. So far, it's coming along good. We're deadlifting, squatting, leg pressing. Everything is coming along good. I'm very pleased with it so far. Considering all the surgeries I've had, we're turning the corner and I'm really happy about it." Asked about her interest in a career in Hollywood, Rhea Ripley told Adam's Apple, "I mean, I'm never going to say never. People are reaching out here and there and I'm interested, but at the same time, I'm so focused on WWE right now. I don't want to have to juggle both. I just want to focus on WWE." Addressing allegations of him being bitter about his run in AEW, Mark Henry noted on the Huge Pop podcast, "Tightening the screws requires you to be able to break your toolkit out. No, AEW did not give me a screwdriver to work with, so there was a point where I realized that I wasn't there to tighten the screws. I was there for name recognition and visibility, and that's a horrible place to feel if you're a creative and there's people that do a good job that I like, their thinking and their thought process, but even them, they don't get to do all the things that they want to do because it's not their action figures being played with. So you have to do what you're told. If I own a company, you best believe you better do what I ask you to do or you won't work for me. So I get it. Go and get your check and go home. Do what you're asked to do. Handle your creative and you make a suggestion. Don't get the boo-boo face when you get told no." "Nah, that's what you said," Henry responded when the co-host said Henry was insinuating there's a maturity issue in AEW. "Yeah, you're wrong because it's Tony Khan's company and Tony gets to do whatever he wants to do. You can make all of these suggestions in the world, but if he don't want to do that, he's not gonna do that. The same thing with Triple H running WWE. He's the boss. But the difference is Triple H leans on the fact that he has brilliant minds around him and he'll go, you know what, I think it would go better this way, but we gonna do it your way to see, and when it works, amen, good job. That was a good call. That's a good call. When he messes up, we should have did it my way, or I'm gonna let somebody else get a shot next time at making a call. You're still handing the pie different directions. You gotta do things on a timely manner too. I like rehearsal at noon, 1 o'clock. I don't want to be under the gun at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock to put a show together because now people are pressing and some people, they don't thrive well under pressure. So there's a lot of things that can be fixed, but you look at the ratings, that's not good. And that's a byproduct of the fact that there's some people that have already mentally checked out. They took their ball and they went home. They surrendered. Hey, whatever you want to do, I don't care. and when you get the "I don't care, I'll do whatever you tell me to do," it's not good. You can't win. Now, there's no contest. Pro wrestling is based on the fact that it's art imitating life. We're imitating competition. We're putting on a show, but we want you to feel a competition is going on. Tell me when the last time you saw competition. I'll tell you. The last time you saw a competition was CM Punk and MJF, and before that it was Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, brother versus brother. Those were the competition. The competitive nature in the matches, and you can name 2 or 3 matches that are in that vein. But they don't stand above those 2 matches, and you have the people that were in those matches, and I don't know. I don't want to come across, I'm not whining and I'm not complaining. I'm stating the facts. If people wasn't worried about losing their jobs or getting fired or not getting paid, they would be like, yeah, you right. But right now, everybody gonna be like, nah, Mark Henry just mad and bitter. I'm not mad and bitter. I took a pay cut to go work at AEW. Don't get it twisted. I went there because I wanted to get experience being an executive, and I wanted to help that company flourish and help those people that were over there be better than they were. And you ask the talent, did Mark Henry try to help you? Hell yes, all the time. He would come and tell me this, and I would try it, and they would come, and man, that was good. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I was working for those high fives from guys and girls coming back. And then there's some bad apples, and the bad apples have to be disciplined. Oh, they're disciplining people now, but nobody was getting suspended or disciplined when I was there. I don't remember. During that same interview, Mark Henry mentioned this about potentially working at the WWE Performance Center. I don't see it me working at the WWE Performance Center because usually you have an inkling about a situation like that, and I don't. I think they realize what they would have to pay me would to stop me from doing what I do now, and you know, if you're making 40, 50 grand a month, the last thing they want to do is have to pay you that much if you're not wrestling. I'm sure there's some people that's making that kind of money, but you know, didn't they just clean house, firing people and stuff? They're not just gonna hand out another multi-million-dollar deal. I'm not waiting on it. Touching on his retirement plans from pro wrestling, Dax Harwood said this on Instagram. So my plans after being done in the ring are already in motion. I don't know how much I can tell you, but I can tell you that there's already a ring, there's already a building, there's already equipment, and the idea is to obviously open a wrestling school with 3 of my friends. I'll just leave it at that, and you know, hopefully that will allow people to live a 20-year dream just like I did. Claiming that he made significantly more money than Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan noted on the Impulsive podcast, "Bro, if I'm making more money than you, that's for real. If I'm a babyface and my merchandise is selling more than yours, that's a shoot." So this business back in the day used to be about the money and the miles. It's how far you travel, how much money you make. But at the end of the day, if I'm like WrestleMania 3, God bless his soul, Andre, I made a lot more money than him. Thank God he never found out, you know, but that's a shoot, bro. If somebody's making more money than me, I'm not going to go, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm a heel and I make less money. That's not a work to me, that's a shoot. In that same interview, Hulk Hogan addressed Bret Hart, claiming that he ruined the Hitman's career. As he said, Bret hates everybody. If it's not me, it's Flair, it's Vince. You know, I'll never work for Vince again after what happened to my family. And then he's back. It just never ends with him, and I love Bret to death, man. I started with Bret. I remember when I was in Atlanta, I was in the business for about 3 years, and I was like 330 pounds, almost 340, all natural. Anyway, I remember Bret used to live across the hall from me when I was working for Channel 17. What was it? Crockett Promotions. I was so big, they'd have me wrestle 3 guys at once. I'd pick all 3 of them up in a bear hug and just ragdoll them. Bret was one of them. him, you know, and I'd throw him down. But we were all just getting started, so it was all fun. But then we got rolling, and he says I destroyed his career. It's like, okay, alright, whatever. I just don't get it, man, because I love him to death. He's a good guy, and he was a great asset to the business, you know? Similar bitter vibes and similar energy, like attracts, like. So when you talk that way, you attract more of that hatred and negativity, and it's just not good, man. It's time to switch up and be positive and happy and love people. When it comes to plans for TNA's The Rascalz on NXT, Fightful Select reported that those we spoke to told us to expect more TNA NXT crossover, and The Rascalz are expected to be part of plans for the next couple of months, as NXT officials have been incredibly happy with Zachary Wentz's performances and attitude since returning to the brand. Going over the negotiations between TNA Wrestling and a former AEW name, Ringside News wrote that, according to a report by PW Insider, Heather Reckless is in advanced talks with TNA Wrestling, with some sources suggesting she may have already signed with the company. It was noted that Reckless recently participated in the latest set of tapings and might have been the one Giselle Shaw put over during her exit. Reckless previously appeared in an enhancement match against Ash by Elegance back in June. Trained at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy in Iowa, which is run by Merrick Brave and Seth Rollins, Reckless has competed in various indie promotions. Reckless was also active in AEW from 2021 to 2022 and had several matches in Ring of Honor in 2023, facing opponents like Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, Athena, Anna Jay, and Hikaru Shida. Talking about her time so far in AEW, Mercedes Moné said this on Beyond the Fame. AEW is where the best wrestling is, and I'm the best wrestler in the whole world. It's been so absolutely incredible being in AEW. I feel like to have a different opportunity to work with a lot of different people I've never worked with before excites me so much. I'm feeling nothing but amazing ever since I signed that dotted line with AEW. Professional wrestling, it's been the best it's ever been in the past 10 years. So I'm so happy to be a part of the company making headways. Mariah May and the Heavyweight Championship, I'd love to face her. Toni Storm is incredible. Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander. Jamie Hayter just made her return at All In, so I'd love to step in the ring with her. The dreams are endless there at AEW, because not only do I get the AEW roster, I get to face the Stardom roster, the CMLL roster. AEW's going global, so any woman who wants to come after my championships, I'm always ready. Bringing up how WWE contacted him after he filed a trademark for the Yes chant he has become famous for, AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson told Luke James Chats, "It's weird, I applied for the trademark and then I got, well, it wasn't exactly a cease and desist. I got some sort of legal letter from WWE. My manager just texted me and said, hey, this thing is available. Do you want to get it? I was like, how much does it cost? And it wasn't that much, so I said, okay, sure. But then shortly after, I got an email from WWE saying, oh, this is infringing on this or that, and I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to sell anybody anything, I just do my thing." Going back to a TNA star that has been let go, details were provided as 411 Mania said. Fightful Selects, Sean Ross Sapp reported that Giselle Shaw has effectively finished up with TNA Wrestling after Shaw recently requested a release from the company. TNA granted it on the condition that she work the Louisville tapings and put over someone on the way out. It happened with sources in TNA noting that TNA worked smoothly to grant the release and didn't put up a fight in keeping her around. Before her departure, she had been feuding with Tasha Steelz. She is slated to work for Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling later this year, where TNA sources expect her to be a regular there. For an update on former WWE and current TNA star Rich Swann, Ringside News wrote that former TNA champion Rich Swann recently appeared in court to address charges of disorderly public intoxication and causing a disturbance stemming from an incident last June. Ringside News has learned that Swann entered a no-low contendery plea, which is used in Florida when a defendant neither admits nor denies the charges, but it serves as an alternative to pleading guilty or not guilty. Following his plea, the court found Swann guilty, fining him $203 and placing him on 6 months of probation. He was also ordered to pay an additional $285.38 in related fees. Once Swann completes his probation and pays all fines, the case will be considered closed. Swann's arrest on June 9, 2024 occurred after he allegedly tried to enter an apartment near his own, claiming it was his residence. The homeowner, armed with a firearm, confronted Swann, who subsequently left the property. Although the homeowner declined to press charges, there was reported damage to the front door. Authorities received a separate report from a woman who claimed Swann followed her to her door after she asked him not to. Notably, Swann has recently shared on social media that he has been sober, with posts showcasing his 60-day sobriety coin, which aligns with his decision to become alcohol-free following the arrest. TNA announced that Swann was suspended upon learning of the arrest. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.